We are back together again. Isn't it exciting? Yes, we are once more live on YouTube on a very bright and, well, I wouldn't say that it's warm, but it's not too bad. At least it's not raining. Hello, Mr. Crow. Did you see Mr. Crow fly by just a few seconds ago? Hi, everybody. We are back together. English Addict is with you once more, coming to you live from the birthplace of the English language, which is, of course, England. It is England. Yes, that is where I am right now. Coming to you live as live can be. Here we are once again. Hi, everybody. This is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you feeling happy? That is the big question. Are you feeling happy today? I hope so. We are here once more live on YouTube. It's nice to have your company on this Wednesday afternoon, and it is bright, lovely. We have had a couple of days of really nice weather, and you know what happens whenever the weather suddenly turns nice? It changes your feeling. It actually makes you feel better, more happy, perhaps, maybe excited, especially at this time of year because we now head towards springtime here in England. So everyone is getting rather excited. I noticed yesterday that the days are definitely getting longer. We are getting more sunlight for longer periods of time, which is always quite nice when you think about it. By the way, my name is Duncan, and if you like me, please give me a big like right now. I will be ever so happy and pleased if you could. And I talk about English. That is what I do. I've been doing that for many years, 18 to be precise. Most people don't believe me when I tell them. They say, Mr. Duncan, we think you're lying. But it is true. I've been here on YouTube doing this for 18 years. 2 years from now, it will be my 20th anniversary on YouTube. 2 years from now. Can you believe it? I can't anyway. It's nice to see you here today. I hope you are having a good day and I hope everything is nice where you are. We have lots of people already on the live chat. Today we are talking about words and phrases connected to this thing, water. Lots of phrases in the English language that can refer to the most magical thing on the planet. Without water, there would be no us. There would be no you, no me, no anything. Because water is the source of all life on this planet. Without water, there would be nothing. It would just be a big dusty rock floating in space. So, can we have a round of applause, please, for water? Thank you, water, for being there. I remember growing up, there was always someone talking about water shortages. And I remember there was one particular period way back in 1976. Yes, I really am that old. And we had a huge heat wave here in the UK, and it went on for around 7 weeks, right through summer in 1976. And there was no rain. In fact, there was a water shortage, and we did have one. It was so bad that many people had no water. Can you imagine that now? I can't imagine it actually happening, to be honest. But I do remember it actually happening. It did actually happen? We had no water. People had to go into the streets, and there was one tap or faucet in the street, and people had to queue and wait, and they had to put water into a bucket and then take it back to their house. Can you imagine that now? It seems amazing, but sometimes the weather can do some crazy things. Hello to Vitas. Hello, Vitas. Nice to see you here. Also, we have Beatrice, Zershid, Palmyra is here today. It's very nice to see you as well. Also, we have, yes, he's here, Luis Mendez is here today. Hello, Luis. Nice to see you back here with us as well. Inaki, hello to you. Oh, we also have Pedro Belmont is here today. Very nice. I did not see Mr. Duncan wearing his t-shirt. Very nice and stylish. Do you like this? I wanted to have a change because I always wear my white or my black t-shirt with a white cap. But today I thought, no, I'm going to wear something different. So I am wearing for the first time ever my English Addict t-shirt in red. And of course my red cap as well. Before anyone says anything, I know some of you out there are very suspicious. Everyone is these days. We always suspect that maybe someone is doing something for bad reasons, or maybe something secretive is happening or subtle. I can promise you now, nothing like that is happening. This is not political. This is just a change of style for me today. So I thought I would wear something different. I hope you don't mind. Patrick is here. Hello, Patrick. Nice to see you back here as well. I am with you live every Wednesday and also Sunday as well from 2 p.m. UK time. Nice to see you here as well. I'm sure a lot of people are going to accuse me of wearing this for political reasons. It has nothing to do with politics. It's nothing to do with anything political, for those worried or wondering. No, it isn't. It's purely because I wanted to have a change. And you know what they say in English? A change is as good as a rest. Sometimes doing something different, making changes, even if that change is very small, it can make a big difference in your life. Hello to Jeremy. Hello, Jeremy. Nice to see you here as well. Thank you very much. Pedro says, I totally agree with you about water. Apparently the Earth is the only planet in the universe with a source of water. Most of the planets around here, especially in our solar system, are either dry or they are made of gas or very cold. So there might be ice on some planets. However, it is either beneath the ground or it is on a planet that has terrible atmospheric conditions. The atmosphere is one where life could not be sustained. So that is the reason why, I suppose. But we are lucky here on Earth. We have lots of water. It is the same water, by the way. It's not new water. We don't have new water. So the water you drink is the same water that was being drunk by people 1,000 years ago or 2,000 years ago. So the water always goes round and round. Some people say that at least every other day, one of us on the planet is drinking water that went through Napoleon's bladder. I'm not sure how true that is, But apparently because the water constantly circulates, so there is never new water, it is always the same water. It is circulating for various reasons. One of the main reasons, of course, is evaporation. When you see clouds and when you feel the rain fall, it is basically the same water. So there is a chance, maybe in the future, you could be drinking some of Mr. Duncan's wee-wee. Not directly, please, don't try it at home, but in the future, because the water is constantly circulating. It is going round and round the planet in various ways. Maroots is here. Don't worry if you are late. You know what I say. Better to be late than never. That's what I say anyway. Hello also to, who else is here today? I don't want to forget anyone. Hello, Eva. Eva is here. Nice to see you on the live chat as well. Very nice to see so many people joining in. Today we are talking about water, words, expressions, phrases, things that you can use when we are talking about water, the most wonderful thing in the world. You can drink it, you can cook with water, you can swim in the water if you like to do that sort of thing. I don't, because I can't swim. I'm sure many of you know that already, that I'm not able to swim. I hated it as a child. I hated going near water, which was a rather unpleasant thing because when I was at school, they used to take us to the local swimming baths and they used to make us all go in the water. And I didn't want to because I was so afraid of water. And I never learned to swim, ever. So even now, I can't swim. If I go into the water, I normally go under the water. So I'm not very good at swimming. However, I am very good at drowning. They even gave me a special badge at school. I was the only person in my school to be presented with a special badge for drowning, or at least almost drowning. It's not something to be proud of. That's all I can say. It is lovely to see you here. No Mr. Steve, because he is working. That's what he says. So I'm going to believe him. When he says he's out working at the moment, I will believe him. So it isn't a way of avoiding me. So we will see what happens on Sunday, because Mr. Steve will be with us on Sunday. Don't forget, Sunday, 2 p.m. UK time is when I'm back with you. The word water. Water is very hard to pronounce. Well, of course, there are many ways of saying water. So some people say water with the T sound, water. Some people use the D sound, water, water. Quite often in American English, or American accents, should I say, they say water, water. And of course, some people miss the middle sound out completely. They say water, water. I want a drink of water. I want a drink of water. I want a drink of water. You see? So there are so many ways of saying one simple word. Water can be pronounced in many different ways. It is true, definitely. So that is what we are doing in a few moments. Mr. Steve will be back with us on Sunday. For those missing him, don't worry, he will be with us. We haven't fallen out. We haven't had an argument. We haven't had any rows. Nothing like that. He will be with us on Sunday. Oh, by the way, I'm very excited at the moment because, as you may know, Easter is coming. And of course, that always means that hot cross buns are now available to eat and buy from your local bread shop. So I am feeling very happy at the moment because hot cross buns are back. as Easter approaches, all I can say is they are delicious, and they are something that are only available at certain times of the year, such as Easter, which is coming up right now. Hello also to, who else is it? Giselle is here. Hello, Giselle. Thank you very much for joining me today. Wednesday, of course, in the middle of the week. Some people might not be able to watch, but that doesn't matter because you can always watch me later. Pedro says, I prefer to say water, water, with an American accent. Yes, a lot of people do. So there are many ways of saying that one particular word, water. I say water. Water. I want a drink of water. Can I please have some water? Thank you. We're having a break and then I will come back and we will do more of this. I have to say, I was looking at some of my old videos last night, some older videos, and I noticed a video that I haven't played for a long time, and it gave me a lot of pleasure when I saw it. And I thought, I know, I'm going to play it today during my live stream. So I will be back in a few moments, and we are talking about the subject of water, words, phrases, many examples of the use of one simple thing that we all need and most of us take for granted. All of that coming up right after this lovely video. Lovely, taking us back maybe 2 years, maybe even 3 years, looking back at some of the lovely nature that often appears in my garden. I hope you enjoyed that. It is English Addict and it's Wednesday afternoon. So many creatures, so many animals. Sometimes you have to just sit still and wait for the animals to come to you. And I notice in my garden at certain times of the year you might see certain types of animal, but you will only see them for a short time because of various things, quite often because of the weather. So if it is cold, you might not see so many animals around, but as soon as the warm weather comes, I can guarantee the birds and all of the other animals do come out. Giselle says, what a cute video. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say. How lovely. Today we are looking at words and phrases connected to a thing that we all take for granted. If you take something for granted, it means you never think how important or valuable that thing is because you have it. It's a little bit like health. I think health is a thing we all take for granted. So if you take something for granted, it means you never really consider how lucky you are to actually have it. You just assume that it will always be there. But as we all know, as we get older, our health can deteriorate. It can get worse. So if something deteriorates, it means it gets worse, or maybe problems come along that make that thing difficult to do. So water is definitely something that many people take for granted, and that is what we are looking at today. Various ways of using water, and we will look at those things on today's live stream as we take a splash. We go for a little swim in the fascinating subject of water, words and phrases. First of all, the word water can be used as both a noun and verb. So just like many words in English, the word itself can be used in many ways. Sometimes the uses are very different indeed. So the word water can be used in many different ways as both a noun and a verb. The thing is water. The thing itself is water. This is a bottle of water. Inside here there is water, the actual thing. So that is the noun. It contains water. Something has water inside it. You might add water. You might save water. And that is something that from time to time we are all told to do, especially when there is a shortage of water. You might also drink water, as I do quite often when I'm doing my live streams, because I'm in a studio that's very warm, and quite often my throat will become dry as I'm talking. So I have to have some water nearby. So I will drink lots of water during my live stream. And then later I will go to the bathroom and there will be another live stream. If you get my meaning. Water as a verb, so we can also describe an action with water, an action where water is being used in a certain way. For example, you might water the garden. If you water the garden, it means you are putting water on to the ground. You are introducing moisture. I like that word, moisture. It's not an easy word to say. Moisture is the feeling of wet, the appearance or the actual place where water is. The ground might be moist with water. You are going to put water onto something. So in that sense, we are using it as a verb. We are saying that you water the garden. You might water a flower. You might put some water in a pot where a flower is growing. You water a flower. Here's an interesting one. Water down. If you water down something, it means you dilute that thing. So maybe if you are having some fruit juice, for example, it might be very strong and concentrated. So what you have to do, you have to add some water. So you will water down that thing. You add water to make it less concentrated. You dilute something. So the word dilute just means to make weaker. You weaken the strength of something. You dilute it. Of course, there are many words that can be used as well, using the word water. So these words all contain water, but they might have very different meanings. For example, a place where water will go over the edge, quite often of a high point. We talk about a waterfall. So the water will cascade down the side of a rocky surface. Waterfall. And then, of course, if you want to have some fun in the summer, you might go to a water park. A water park is a place where there are lots of amusements, lots of things you can do involving water. Then we have a type of plant that grows on water, and of course this particular plant has very large green leaves. Water lily. A water lily is a type of plant that grows normally in ponds or sometimes large areas of water. You might see a water lily. And of course there are many lovely paintings of water lilies. Water bucket. A thing we use to carry water in, quite often referred to as a pail. P-A-L-E. So we can also describe a bucket as a pail of water, a bucket of water. So a water bucket is something very useful for carrying water in if you have to transport water from one place to another. And then finally on this list we have water butt. Mr. Duncan, what is a water butt? It sounds rude. It isn't. It is not rude. Don't worry. Don't panic. A water butt is a large container that is used for collecting rainwater. So when the rain falls, this container will collect the water. So the rain can be reused quite often in the garden. So you can use it to water your flowers or your plants to keep the plants in your garden healthy. So a water butt is something that is used for collecting rainwater. It is often seen as an environmentally friendly way of preserving water. So reuse your rainwater. Often you will use a water butt. You can also have a watering can. So that is the thing that carries the water, but is also used for pouring the water onto your plants. You can have a watering can, a watering hole, or water hole, an area quite often in the wild where there is a large expanse of water, and quite often the animals will come down and they will drink from the watering hole or the water hole. There is a place where all the animals can come and drink some water. Quite often, many parts of Africa, South Africa, Southern Africa, these large areas of wilderness, quite often they will have a watering hole, a place where the animals will come. Sometimes they are natural and sometimes they are man-made. So many of the game reserves in Africa, quite often they will have areas Sometimes they are natural and sometimes they are man-made. And they are there so the animals can come and drink at the watering hole. Another one that people sometimes use this phrase for is a slang term for pub. If you go to the pub, if you go to a bar, we often describe it informally as a watering hole. So the watering hole for humans will be a place where you go to drink beer or have a relaxing time with your friends. You have some company and you go along to the local bar or the local pub. Some people will refer to it as the local watering hole, which I love. I think that's a nice phrase. You might say also you are doing something using water. For example, I am watering the garden. If you are watering the garden, it means you are doing a particular thing using water. You are putting water on the garden. As I said earlier, quite often you will do that when you want to keep your plants and all of the plant life growing in your garden. You want to keep it safe. You want to keep it healthy so it doesn't wither away and die. Here are some interesting phrases using water as well. Many phrases. You might say that a person is a fish out of water. If we describe a person as a fish out of water, it means they are a stranger in an unusual place, or maybe they are in a situation that they are unfamiliar with. You are in a situation or in a place where you feel uncomfortable, or maybe you are unfamiliar with that particular place. We can say that you are like a fish out of water. It is a great expression. It means to be a stranger or to be in an unusual place or a strange situation. For example, moving to a foreign country might make you feel like a fish out of water. You feel as if you don't really belong in that particular place. You feel foreign even. So a foreign thing might be described as a fish out of water. When I travelled to China to work there as an English teacher, when I first arrived, I felt very awkward. I felt like a fish out of water because I was unfamiliar with that particular place. Here's another phrase that we often use in English: water off a duck's back. If something is like water off a duck's back, it means you are expressing how easy something is to do, or maybe how you can do something without feeling bothered by it. It is like water off a duck's back. Maybe a person will be saying bad things to you, to your face, but you're not bothered because it is like water off a duck's back. So imagine water going on to a duck as it's swimming in the pond. The water will just go off. It will be repelled by the feathers. So you might say that something is like water off a duck's back. It doesn't bother me. It's fine. It is easy for me to do. For me, learning how to drive a car is like water off a duck's back. It means it's simple. It's easy. It doesn't bother me. I can do it very easily. It is like water off a duck's back. Here's another one. Oh, I see. Here's another one. Water off a duck's back. That confused me then. Did you see what happened then? For a moment, my brain got very confused. So there is another way of using water off a duck's back. As I mentioned, your insults are like water off a duck's back. They do not bother me. So there is the other way of using water off a duck's back. Something doesn't bother you. You are not affected by it at all because it is water off a duck's back. To be in deep water. Maybe you are doing something difficult or you are in a dangerous situation. You are in deep water. You are in a place or you are doing something that might cause you harm or upset of some sort. And then, of course, we can be in hot water. If you are in hot water, that means you are in serious trouble, or maybe you are facing possible punishment. To be in trouble. Maybe if you are in hot water, it means you are in trouble with the authorities, maybe the police. You are in hot water. You are in trouble. You have done something wrong, and now you are in hot water. So you can say deep water. To be in deep water means to be doing something difficult or dangerous. And in hot water, it means you are facing possible punishment. You are in trouble. Here's another one. To swim against the current. So when we talk about current, we are talking about the flow of something. So quite often when you look at a river, it will flow. The water is moving in a certain direction. The force of the water is called the current. But of course, the current will go in one direction. Perhaps you are going the opposite way. You are going against the current. So this is a phrase quite often that we use when a person does something contrary to what is normal or in fashion. You swim against the current. You push against the flow of the water. You are doing something unusual. You are doing something that has never been tried before. You are swimming against the current. The force of the water is coming towards you, and you are going into the current or against it. To do something contrary or something against what is seen as normal or in fashion. We can also say swim against the tide. So again, the tide is the flow of water as it comes inland. You might swim against it. You swim against the tide. This is another phrase that means to go in the opposite direction to current trends or fashions. Another phrase here, to be out of your depth. If you are out of your depth, it means you are doing something you are not able to cope with. You are doing something that might be above your ability. So something you are able to do, you might only know a small amount about it. However, if you are given more responsibility, or maybe if you have to do more things concerning that one skill, you might find yourself out of your depth. You are in too deep. You are out of your depth. You are doing something you are not able to cope with. Maybe you get promotion in your job. Maybe you have more things to do at work. Your job will be more involved. You might find you can't do it. You might say that you are now out of your depth. You are doing something you can't cope with. It is hard to handle. Here's another one. Oh, I like this one. To take the plunge. If you take the plunge, it means you dive into something. You take the plunge. Plunge means to drop suddenly. So we can often look at something that suddenly drops. Maybe the stock market might plunge. It suddenly declines or falls. So if you take the plunge, it means you have a go at doing something. You try something. You give it a try. You take the plunge. You decide that you are not going to be a coward. You are not going to avoid doing that thing. You will take the plunge. To have a go at doing something means to take the plunge. To try something challenging. So maybe something you've never done before. Maybe something you've thought about doing. And now is the time for you to actually do it. You have decided to take the plunge. You've decided to do it, to have a go and see what happens. Here's another one. To make a splash. A person who makes a splash is a person who makes a strong impact on one or more people. They leave an impression on others. They make a splash. They are noticed for what they do. So you might notice someone who is doing something different or unusual. You make a splash. To be noticed by something done. So because of something you've done or the way you do it, you have made a splash. Lots of people have noticed you for the thing you are doing. You have made a splash. Here's another phrase, using water. If you splash out. To splash out means to spend a lot of money on something. You suddenly buy something expensive. You decide to splash out. You decide to spend a lot of money on one particular thing. Maybe you go out for a lovely meal at a fancy restaurant, a lovely posh restaurant. You decide to splash out on an expensive meal. To be carefree with your money. So a person who is carefree is a person who is not worried. They are not concerned. They are not worried by doing a particular thing. They splash out. They are very generous and carefree with their money. They splash out on some new clothes. They splash out on a new car. They spend a lot of money on one particular thing. Sometimes it is nice to splash out. Here's another phrase. Troubled water. Troubled water or troubled waters. Troubled waters means a confused or chaotic state or situation. So there are troubled waters. Maybe things are about to go wrong. Maybe they are about to become bad or even worse than they are now. Troubled waters. There is a problem ahead. We are now entering troubled waters. Dangerous times is another way of describing troubled waters. Things are going on that we cannot control and they might cause harm. We are sailing into troubled waters. We are heading towards a difficult or unpleasant situation. We are heading into troubled waters. A person who is making waves. You make waves. Quite often, if you go out to sea, If you go far away from the land, you will find the waves can be very like that. They can be very rapid or violent, rough waves. We often describe the sea as being rough if the waves are large. So to cause uproar or push against others' ideas is to make waves. Perhaps you are making problems for other people. Maybe you are doing something that's different from what they do. And they think, oh, who does he think he is coming here making waves? To create difficulty. You certainly made waves at the meeting today. A person who stands up and says something that might upset other people. We can say that person is making waves. They are causing problems, creating difficulty for others. Another phrase, you might test the water. So this is another phrase we can use in English when we want to check something so as to make sure it is safe or acceptable. So to check so as to make sure something is safe or acceptable is to test the water. Something you've never done before. Maybe you have to check the safety of something. You test the water. You are trying something to see if you like it or not. We will test the water before launching the new product. So maybe you are going to find out if there is a demand for the thing you want to sell. You test the water. You are finding out what people want, what they really want to own or buy. So quite often you will find out what people really want from a certain product. You test the water. You find out what people really want or like. You might have a whale of a time. For example, coming here to watch my live streams, you might have a whale of a time. You have a great time. To have a great time during a certain event is to have a whale of a time. I had a whale of a time at the party last night. So if you have a whale of a time, it means you have a good, exciting, pleasant experience. You have a whale of a time. Something that is exciting, enjoyable, and you have a lot of fun doing it. You can say that you had a whale of a time. Here's a negative one. Oh, this is negative. You might have a sinking feeling. Something is sinking. Maybe a ship might sink. Something will sink. It will slowly go under the water. You can have that feeling as well. Maybe if you suddenly feel sad or disappointed about something, you have that you have that sinking feeling. It happens to all of us. Maybe you wake up in the morning, you feel happy, but during the day you slowly get a feeling of sadness or disappointment over something. You have that sinking feeling. Her absence gave me a sinking feeling, a feeling of sadness, maybe despair, maybe something you feel disappointed about is a sinking feeling. You don't feel very happy about something. Two more. We might describe a person as wet. If a person is wet, well, in its actual, literal form, a person who is wet is covered in water. They have been in the water, or maybe some water was thrown over them and now they are wet. However, as a phrase, we can also describe a person who is weak or has no strong character or lacks courage. You might describe them as wet, a wet person, a person who isn't very strong. Maybe their character is a little weak. It is not a nice phrase to use, by the way. It is normally used as an insult towards someone. Stop acting wet all the time. Be a man. Be a man. Stop acting so wet. So maybe a person who seems to have no strength or courage might be described as wet, a wet person. Quite often used towards a man who lacks strength and character. Finally, to dive into something. If you dive into something, it means you begin or do something with lots of enthusiasm and energy. You dive into it. You decide to do something. You want to take up a new hobby. You want to learn a new skill. You dive into it. You do something with a lot of enthusiasm. You want to do it. You have a lot of energy. You really feel excited. You dive into that subject. You begin to study a particular thing. You start to learn a particular thing. You dive into it. A bit like today, really. I wanted to show you lots of ways of using the word water. So today I decided to dive into that particular subject. Let's dive into today's English lesson. You dive in. You start doing it, quite often with lots of energy and excitement. You dive in. You dive straight in without hesitating because you are so excited to do it. So as you can see, there are lots of words, lots of phrases, and I'm sure there are many others as well that we can use also. Many ways of using water as part of an English phrase, or, well, any way, to be honest, any way whatsoever. I hope that has been helpful for those who want to follow along. You can watch this again whenever you want. Later on, this will be available. It will be available later. Don't worry, it will be here, and there will be lovely captions as well for you to follow. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. I hope it's been interesting, and I hope there has been something here just for you. Lots of things to look at, because the world of English is a fun and exciting place to be. I'm so glad you can join me for another live English lesson today. That is it. It's almost time to say goodbye. Thank you very much. Thank you also, Beatrice, for being here today. Thank you, Beatrice. Thank you also to K-pop. Hello, K-pop. Nice to see you here today. Aziz is here. Also, Double Sash. Hello, Double Sash. Nice to see you here as well. Thank you very much for joining me. I will see you on Sunday. By the way, I will tell you now, next Sunday here in the UK, it is Mother's Day. So I thought we would do something a little different. Besides learning English, I thought it would be nice to talk about our mothers next Sunday. So it is Mother's Day next Sunday here in the UK. A good opportunity for us all to talk about and remember our mothers. So that's what we are doing on Sunday. Mr. Steve will be here as well. Thank you for watching. See you very soon. Thank you very much for joining me on the live chat. It has been interesting and I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much. See you on Sunday. This is Mr. Duncan. That's me, by the way, in England, saying thanks for watching. See you soon. And of course, until the next time we meet here, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Ta-ta for now. Have a good day. Enjoy yourself. Keep that smile upon your face.